What a pleasure it is for Linda and me to be back here. Linda's there to witness the rededication of Pulling House. I recall very well the first dedication, I think in 1992, the fall of 92 or the fall of 93, and to help with the dedication of this magnificent space, soon to be called Anthony House. The beautiful new Pulling House continues in a tradition created by the trustees with their 1992 strategic plan of enhancing the campus in ways that would result in every graduate saying, "It looks just the same, only better." I see Tom Cox out there. I think he was part of that process. In its design and function, Pulling House embraces Mr. Pulling's vision of the school that would be conservatively progressive. That is, it would honor the best traditions of the past while always looking to improve with the best ideas of and thinking of today. Great credit goes to architect Daniela Voigt. Daniela, please raise your hand. And trustee Gil Schaefer for designing a space that meets the often public purpose of the house along with the daily private family needs of the home. Now to Anthony House. Wow, right? Wow. This gorgeous building, again, the creation of the Voigt-Schaefer collaboration is important for Millbrook today and tomorrow for so many reasons. Finally, the advancement team has a place, has the space it needs to generate the support for the aspirational school that Millbrook has become and must continue to be, and they deserve it. Keep in mind that Bob Anthony's office in the schoolhouse was previously the men's room. And of course, since 2018, the entire team has done their vitally important work in a double wide, which early on they affectionately labeled the Taj, affection that waned when year one became year two, and then year two became year three, and so on until year five, and it literally began to fall apart around them. In addition, Anthony House, designed and situated as it is, completes at last the Pulling Circle, the space that welcomes all visitors to campus, beginning with our admissions families. And as we all know, you only have one chance to make a first impression, and what a positive welcome that this space will now provide for them all. Then, most important, comes its name, Anthony House. With that, we rightly honor one of Millbrook's finest, Robert W. Anthony, class of 1965. This is lasting recognition which Bob richly deserves, having served the school with distinction for 49 years. He's contributed in truly profound ways to Millbrook's progress and the bright future that lies ahead under the leadership of John Downs, class of 1998. Lynn and I are truly honored and delighted to be here today to play our small part in this recognition for Bob. How far we've come, my friend, and how much you've contributed. We and this school, which you love so dearly, thank you.
Well, I'm really going to have to speak loud for Betty over there. Can you hear me, Betty? Okay, great. You know, I have prepared words Oh, is it working now? Now you can really hear me. Is that good? Is it working?
Yeah.
Yes, it is working. But you know what? I'm not gonna speak from my my prepared speech. I'm gonna speak from the heart. And I have to tell you that it's been my great fortune to work with Bob Anthony. And I don't mean fortune as a pun. We have done so many fun things together, raised a lot of money for school, and there's nobody better than Bob. Nobody who doesn't prepare better or give the best of his possible self for Millbrook School. He truly believes Millbrook blue. He is 1 in a million. And I just want to give you all some statistics that I got yesterday from Bob. And when he came, the annual fund had a goal of $75,000 in 1974. They raised $88,000. The annual fund now raises $2.4 million. So, Mr. Anthony, your fund is doing beautifully. Bob has always been a huge advocate of the annual fund, how important it is, and indeed it is to the future and well-being of this school. The other piece of information that I want to share is when he came, the endowment was $700,000. Today, the endowment is over $60 million. So, Mr. Anthony, your fine hand is everywhere. And I just want to say that when I was working with Bob, I was lucky enough to be Sarah Anthony's advisor. And at one point, she came into the office and she looked at Bob and she said, "Dad, Mrs. Stahl is your office wife." Because we bantered back and forth so much of the time and had such a good time together. So to my office husband, nothing makes me happier than to see the Anthony House here. We spent some fun years in the Taj, but boy, are we glad to be in this building and to have this building on Millbrook's campus in honor of you.
I don't want that. I don't think I-
Well, you better speak up.
I'll speak up. You know, I used to be Nancy's boss when she first started working at Millbrook School. And it was time to pay her back because she made me be board chair of Duchess Day following her. So I paid her back, but we hired her and I was her boss. But now she became my boss. And so the tide has turned, and now we just hired a new boss who will be introduced shortly to the Millbrooks community. But thank you all very much for attending this today. I know you had other things to do on a nice June Saturday. I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for their support for the past 49 years, and especially for their decision to attach my name to this Alumni Development Center. I was talking to our board chair, Bill Menard, the other day, and I recall he said, after they decided to name it Anthony House, he said it was a very close vote, and but we couldn't figure out who else to name it for, so now you got to go raise $7 million. Well, thanks to everybody's help, we did it. This building is not about me. Rather, it's about providing a place for alumni to come back to when they return to campus. This is their house. I want to thank my wife, Ann, and our 3 Millbrook graduates, Arthur, Mimi, and Sarah, who called this school our home for 24 years when we resided down School Road in Abbott House. And a big shout out today to the extended Anthony clan, many of whom are here today, all of whom, whether present or not, contributed to this building because my brother Cy made sure they did. You and many other generous donors helped to get us out of the Taj, which was our WeWork space for 5 long years. To my advancement colleagues, my former colleagues, and especially my office wife, thank you for your hard work, your fellowship, support, and now we can celebrate the fact we're finally out of the trailer and back on Pulling Circle, which is where we belong. And thank you again to Daniela Voith, who is here today. Thanks, Dickie, for driving her up. Danielle has been a great friend and magician in working on Millbrook's new and renovated buildings for the last 24 years with Gil Schaefer, class of '80. What an amazing collaboration it has been. And special appreciation to the class of 1969, whose generosity jump-started the fundraising for this building 4 years ago. The reception area inside will bear your name. And of course, I have to thank Drew Casertano, who he and I traveled hopefully for the school for 31 years. Not always happily, but always hopefully. There was one night in Florida, we checked into a hotel, there was one single bed. Drew said, no, we're not doing this. Drew, this building would not be here without your inspired leadership. Finally, as Tom Pulling said, it means the world to me that Anthony House and Pulling House are right next to each other. As Edward and Lucy Pulling had a tremendous impact on this school, and they left an indelible imprint on me as well, for which I shall be forever grateful. Thank you.